One of the earliest experiences we have as human beings is rejection. Can rejection define the way we see others, and more importantly, how we see ourselves in the pursuit of being accepted and integrated into different social groups?
The question is, will I ever stop being so nervous every time I buy a ticket to go hiking? Honestly, what's going on with me? I'm here trying to buy a ticket and I'm nervous. I don't know what's going on. Because it's both excitement and fear. It's a mix between both.
Starting a new job recently has brought up various feelings and coping mechanisms in me. I never thought I could ever be this shy and restrained. Even being labelled as a new girl made me feel somewhat uncomfortable. My mind has been racing at full speed at times, making sure I stay safe, while also obliviously displaying a fearful attitude. Why did I change the safety and familiarity of a job where I was well integrated for all this unknown? Even the job itself felt all over the place, with my colleagues talking in abbreviations, and I was reluctant to bother people too much with my questions. In a critical moment of irrational concern, and with the advice of a close friend, it dawned on me. It's rejection, and more precisely, the fear of it. My friend asked me, "When did you feel like this before? How is this setup familiar to anything you lived before?" Questions that would open up a dusty closet, one that would finally bring clarity to how I'm positioning myself to the people around me, and more importantly, how I see myself in this context. My initial response was, "I'm not sure, but I'll think about it." Once the emotions wore off, the answers came flooding in, as if they'd been waiting around the corner for my signal. I think I was as young as 3-4 years old. It's one of the oldest memories. I was in kindergarten, and the popular kids, boys and girls, each sexed with its representative, made up this game where they formed two groups. Both the girl and the boy picked and chose the other kids to be part of the groups. This very inhabited girl and I were left out. We were the outcasts. I was so hurt, but my mind couldn't grasp what happened, so instead of retreating in defeat, I chose to comfort my colleague, as if I wasn't in the same situation. It was a distraction from the massive rejection that I just experienced.
I was not expecting to be this warm, but here it is. It seems like 20 degrees feels like 30. But thank God we have some forest sections where you can stay in the shade. Oh. And I did legs yesterday, now I'm sore. Why do I do this to myself?
From that point on, I've developed ways that would help me maneuver rejection, just so I don't experience that hurt again. Which is ironic, because it's such a universal and repetitive feeling, and not experiencing it is never in the cards for anyone. It happens to all of us, but how we deal with it is what makes us different.
That I'm gonna grow like this.
I find it fascinating that after years of soul searching, digging my head into self-help books and paying thousands of pounds for different ways to heal and understand my mind, I somehow missed this huge aspect.
This looks so cute. Out of a kid's novel. Like a fairy tale. You know what's not a fairy tale is this trail. Oh God.
Following the trail of thoughts and chronologically looking at my life choices when it came to friends, jobs, and even countries I lived in, it became more clear that my self-esteem has been hugely impacted by the fear of rejection. I've realized now that, as a consequence of this, I chose unsuitable partners without first assessing if we are a good match, and I made friends with individuals I had nothing in common with, and they disrespected me daily. The reason why they disrespected me is mostly that I was forcing a connection and faking it, and this was the response I was getting. On the other hand, it kept me passive and reluctant to be myself in different moments, which means I might have missed some good experiences and possible fun connections, only to feed a fragile ego that is trying to survive.
The forest has to be one of the most magical places on this earth, honestly. All the sounds, the smells, the colors. Makes me feel so alive.
It took away the clarity and the understanding of myself and others, and instead he left the passive individual whose mind was swimming in crippling thoughts and acted inauthentically in order to belong or to experience a certain level of acceptance.
Looks like someone built a shelter. How cute this is. Look at it. I have arrived at the perfect spot to have my lunch.
While rejection describes the emotional pain of being denied affection, self-doubt is the root cause. Self-doubt is the disconnection from who you truly are in your heart. It still baffles me how in today's society, arrogance and pride are considered powerful, and self-doubt is seen as weakness.
Opa. One thing I like from the last hike is that there's less people on this hike. The trail is less busy and it's nice. Initially, I was very reluctant of being on a trail by myself, but now I'm actually enjoying it. It's actually beautiful. It's gorgeous down here. There's so much greenery and the sea. And it's peace and quiet. Well, I don't know if you guys can hear. There is a plane over my head, but who cares? This is the recharge I need at the end of a work week.
The true power doesn't lie in any of them, but by far pride is the ugly one. Because you offend those around us, it tells them, I'm better than you, while self-doubt only concerns ourselves. We use rejection as a way to justify our stance, to play the victim and to hold others responsible for our hurts. It's fascinating how the human mind will build an elaborate narrative to keep us safe, to hold us in high regard, and to mend the false sense of power. It is like we're drowning, and the only thing that's holding us afloat is the ball that keeps rotating in the water because of how slippery and unstable it is, but it somehow manages to hold us to the surface, at least for a while.
Well, now that I've reached the end of my trail, I'm gonna treat myself in an ice cream. Which, honestly, the cone is so small. I don't know how I'm gonna manage this, so I've gotta eat it quick.
I believe there is a price we pay for not doing the work on ourselves, and the biggest one is the lack of power. We remain floating in the sea with no compass, no direction, no ground. And while there might be moments when the sun is shining high in the sky, or a boat is passing by and greets us cheerfully, the danger of losing ourselves lingers every minute, at every corner. We can decide not to let the fear of rejection lead our lives as if we are constantly depending on others' approval. We can learn how to swim and to explore this sea of life, in a freer and more adventurous way. We just have to do the work. There is no other way around it. I'm ending this video with no question whatsoever, just an inner gratitude for being able to share these reflections with you. Thank you for being here. See you at my next one. Bye everyone.